Have you ever stood up from a chair and felt like your legs just didn't want to cooperate? Or walked up a few steps and found yourself unusually winded, wondering when such a simple task became so hard? You might chalk it up to aging. But what if the real reason isn't your age at all? What if the very fruits you've trusted for years, yes, the ones you believed were helping you stay healthy, are secretly stealing your strength, weakening your legs, and slowly draining the energy you rely on every day? Millions of seniors across the country are making this silent mistake. They're unknowingly eating foods that were once helpful in youth, but are now sabotaging their mobility, stability, and independence. In this video, we're pulling back the curtain on the 7 most deceptive fruits. For seniors, fruits that may look innocent on the outside, but carry hidden dangers for aging bodies. We'll reveal how they can inflame your joints, trigger muscle loss, and even interfere with medications meant to protect your heart and circulation. But first, if you haven't already, take a moment to subscribe and click the notification bell. We create videos tailored specifically for seniors like you, content that empowers you with clear, practical health insights. And if you find this video helpful along the way, type 1 in the comments to let us know. If not, type 0, so we can improve and serve you better. Now let's begin with a fruit you've probably enjoyed for years, one that's praised in health magazines and tropical diets alike. But for those over 60, it can quietly become an acidic enemy. 1. Pineapple, the acidic attacker. Have you ever reached for a slice of fresh pineapple, thinking you were doing something good for your body? It's easy to see why pineapple is often celebrated for its anti-inflammatory enzyme, bromelain, and its bright, refreshing flavor. But here's the hidden truth. For seniors, pineapple may not be the healing hero it claims to be. In fact, as we age, our bodies respond differently to certain foods, and pineapple might be silently contributing to the very decline in mobility you're trying to prevent. Here's why pineapple is extremely acidic and loaded with natural sugars. For a younger, more resilient body, that's usually not a problem. But in seniors whose blood vessels are more fragile, joints more sensitive, and metabolism slower, those same acids and sugars can cause real harm. The high sugar content can spike your blood sugar levels, damaging the small capillaries in your legs, the very vessels responsible for transporting oxygen to your muscles. When oxygen delivery is compromised, your legs feel heavier, weaker, and more tired. You may not connect the dots at first, but the fatigue becomes harder to ignore over time. And let's not forget the acid. Pineapple's sharp acidity can aggravate joint already inflamed from arthritis or age-related wear and tear. If you've ever felt unexplained stiffness in your knees or a burning sensation in your ankles after a meal, pineapple could be playing a bigger role than you realize. It gets even more concerning if you're on medications like blood thinners or heart meds. Bromelain, while beneficial in small doses, can interfere with how your body processes these drugs, either reducing their effectiveness or amplifying their impact to dangerous levels. The most troubling part: the damage isn't immediate. You don't eat one slice and suddenly feel weaker. It happens gradually, week after week, month after month, until one day you realize getting up from your favorite chair takes more effort. Walking to the mailbox feels like a chore. You start avoiding stairs. And all this while believing you're doing something healthy. Sometimes what we trust most turns out to be what betrays us the deepest. But pineapple isn't the only fruit playing this silent trick. There's another that's even more common, probably sitting on your kitchen counter right now. For decades, it's been marketed as the perfect snack for energy and muscle health. But for aging bodies, it can be one of the most deceptive traps. Let's talk about bananas. 2. Bananas, the sugar trap. You've probably heard it 1,000 times. Bananas are great for preventing cramps and boosting energy. And it's true, they're rich in potassium and easy to digest. They're the go-to snack for athletes and children alike. But here's what no one tells you: bananas might not be doing your aging body any favors. In fact, they could be silently sabotaging your strength and balance. Why? Because bananas are packed with rapidly digesting carbohydrates and natural sugars. While they give you a quick energy boost, that burst comes at a price, especially for those over 60. When you eat a banana, your blood sugar spikes. This triggers an insulin response flooding your system in an attempt to manage the sugar rush. In younger bodies, this isn't a big deal. But in older adults, especially those with slower metabolisms or early signs of insulin resistance, this can lead to inflammation and energy crashes. Over time, your cells become less responsive to insulin. This means more sugar lingers in your bloodstream, damaging tissues, increasing fatigue, and contributing to persistent leg heaviness. You may notice your legs feel tight, your steps less stable, especially after meals. Bananas also encourage fluid retention, that puffy sensation in your feet, the strange swelling around your ankles when you sit too long. These could be subtle signs that your trusted banana is placing extra pressure on your joints and muscles. And for those with heart conditions, the combination of high potassium and water retention can quietly worsen circulation and increase the risk of joint discomfort or muscle cramping. Here's the thing: you won't notice this from just one banana. The danger lies in frequency. Many seniors eat bananas daily, sometimes multiple times a day, believing they're doing something healthy. But over time, this health food becomes a slow-acting drain on your mobility. The hardest part: you've always believed it was helping. Now imagine a fruit even smaller than the banana. It's soft, sweet, and so easy to eat by the handful. In fact, most people don't stop at just one serving. They keep reaching for more, completely unaware of the havoc it could be wreaking inside their joints. Ready to find out what it is? Let's take a closer look at fruit number 3. Previously, we uncovered how grapes, so often seen as an innocent snack, can slowly undermine leg strength and mobility due to their hidden sugar load. But grapes are just the beginning. Let's continue with a fruit that seems even safer, yet may be quietly sapping your strength sip by sip, slice by slice. 4. Watermelon, the deceptive hydrator. There's a certain nostalgia in a slice of watermelon. It brings back memories of warm summer afternoons, family picnics, sticky fingers, and light laughter on the porch. Watermelon is refreshing, juicy, and mostly water. For many seniors, it feels like the perfect snack, low in calories, gentle on digestion, and thirst-quenching on a hot day. But here's the problem: what feels like a cool dose of hydration may actually be dehydrating your strength from the inside out. Watermelon, despite its high water content, has one of the highest glycemic indexes of any fruit. That means it causes your blood sugar to spike rapidly, and just as quickly, it crashes. And that crash isn't harmless. It leaves your body inflamed, your energy drained, and your muscles less capable of recovery. For aging adults, especially those with slower metabolisms or early-stage insulin resistance, this sugar rush becomes a silent saboteur of strength and mobility. What happens next may not be dramatic, but it's dangerously consistent. Your knees feel stiffer than usual, your ankles slightly more swollen after a walk. Your calves ache just a bit more than they did last month. And perhaps most concerning of all, you think you're staying hydrated, when in fact, your muscles may be starved of the oxygen they need to move, support you, and keep you steady on your feet. And let's be honest, watermelon is easy to overeat. One slice turns into 2, then 3, because it's light, right? But your body doesn't care about texture. It registers the sugar. It releases insulin. And it pays the price with lingering soreness, tightness, and inflammation, especially in the legs, where circulation is already compromised with age. This is the hidden irony: the fruit that feels like hydration behaves like sugar. And instead of refreshing your muscles, it's quietly exhausting them step by step. Now, if watermelon, with all its innocent charm, can do this, what about a fruit we've trusted even more? A fruit that's been the poster child for health and immunity for decades. It's likely on your breakfast table right now, whether in a juice glass or peeled beside your cereal bowl. But its effects on your joints might be anything but healing. Let's take a closer look. 5. Oranges, the acidic sneak. Think about the image of health from your childhood. A tall glass of orange juice in the morning, maybe a fresh slice in your lunchbox. Oranges have long been associated with vitality, packed with vitamin C, helpful for immunity, and widely accepted as a daily health ritual. But for older adults, the truth beneath that bright peel is more complicated and more concerning. As we age, the tissues in our joints become more sensitive. Cartilage wears down, inflammation sneaks in more easily and lingers longer. Oranges, while natural, are rich in citric acid, which can irritate already inflamed joints. That stiffness you feel in your knees when you wake up, the dull ache in your hips after a long sit. These may not be just aging. They may be a reaction to the acid you're consuming every single day. And that's only half the story. Oranges also contain natural sugars, which when eaten on their own or in juice form can lead to blood sugar spikes. For seniors, that's a dangerous combination, acid and sugar working together to feed inflammation. It's a 1-2 punch that often targets your legs, causing swelling, soreness, and that slow erosion of strength you might mistake for normal aging. What makes this so sneaky is its subtlety. You think you're doing something good, drinking your morning juice, enjoying a healthy snack. But meanwhile, your joints are quietly absorbing the cost. And day after day, that cost adds up. There's something unsettling about realizing a fruit you've trusted for your entire life may now be working against you. If oranges, with their glowing reputation, can quietly fuel joint pain and fatigue, what else might be hiding in plain sight? Because the next fruit on our list is often seen as the clean choice. It looks harmless, even virtuous. It's tart, it's crisp, and you may have eaten it raw before bedtime, thinking you were doing your body a favor. But the truth is far more sour than you'd expect. 6. Green apples, the sour trigger. Green apples have become the go-to for health-conscious eaters. They're less sugary than red apples. They feel fresh, and they're often praised for being great for digestion. For many older adults, they seem like the ideal snack, light, clean and safe. But don't let their crisp bite fool you. Green apples owe their tangy flavor to malic acid, a natural compound that might be harmless in youth, but as our bodies age, becomes a more potent irritant. Aging tissues, especially in the gut and joints, grow more reactive. Our ability to neutralize acids weakens. So even a healthy-looking apple can quietly trigger inflammation, stiffness, or even nighttime leg cramps that wake you from a peaceful sleep. You might not connect the dots. Many don't. Instead, we shrug it off as another part of getting older. But the cause may be sitting in your fruit bowl, not in your calendar. And though green apples don't taste overly sweet, don't be misled, they still contain natural sugars. When eaten alone, especially on an empty stomach or late at night, they can lead to minor blood sugar spikes. For older bodies with slower insulin responses, even small spikes like these can lead to inflammation and fatigue in the legs by morning. That tight feeling when you first step out of bed, the heaviness in your thighs by early afternoon, it might be your body quietly protesting a fruit you believed was helping. Because over time, small daily habits repeated again and again build up consequences, especially when they involve foods that look healthy but act very differently inside your body. And if green apples of all things can wear down your comfort and mobility, what about something far sweeter, far softer? A tropical fruit beloved by nearly everyone. Let's move on to the next one. We've just uncovered a list of fruits that, while seemingly innocent, can quietly sabotage your leg strength and joint health. But there's one more, and it may be the sweetest, most seductive of them all. Let's talk about mango. Mango, the sugar bomb in disguise. Golden fragrant and silky smooth, mangoes feel like a tropical dream in your hands. For many older adults, biting into a ripe mango is like tasting a little sunshine, soft, juicy, and oh so satisfying, especially in the summer months. They're often seen as a healthy treat, a natural dessert that must be good for you. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Mangoes, despite their natural sweetness, can quietly wreak havoc on aging legs and joints. In fact, they may be the most dangerous fruit of all for those over 60. Why? Because mangoes are absolutely packed with natural sugar. And while natural sounds harmless, your body doesn't make that distinction. Whether it's the sugar in a chocolate cake or in a mango, your bloodstream processes it the same way. For seniors, this can be especially risky. When you eat a mango, the sugar rush can cause your blood glucose to spike sharply, followed by a crash. These dramatic swings in blood sugar may leave you feeling drained, yes, but they do something far worse. They trigger inflammation deep within your muscles and joints. And where does this inflammation hit the hardest? The lower body. your legs, your knees, your ankles, the very parts already under strain from age and reduced circulation. Over time, the inflammation doesn't just fade away, it builds. It begins to show up in the little ways at first. Maybe your toes start burning after a short walk, or your ankles feel swollen by evening. Maybe your knees tighten up when you rise from a chair, or your thighs feel heavy and slow on the stairs. These aren't just signs of aging, they're signals your body is reacting to what you're feeding it. And for those living with nerve damage, prediabetes, or poor circulation, the effects can be even more intense. The sugars in mango can worsen symptoms of neuropathy, leading to tingling numbness and reduced healing capacity in your feet and legs. The very limbs that carry you through the day become more vulnerable, more reactive, and less resilient. But the real danger of mangoes isn't just the sugar itself, it's how easy it is to overeat them. They taste light, fresh, and healthy. They're not candy or pastries, so we don't think twice. We may even feel virtuous eating them. And that's the trap. Because they're natural and not processed, they often fly under the radar. But bite after bite, the sugar builds, and the damage is done slowly, silently. It's like pouring honey into the engine of your car. It might seem harmless, but over time it gums up the gears and weakens the system. Your legs are no different. What you eat matters. When we think of threats to our mobility, we imagine slips, falls, or arthritis. But sometimes it's the mango on your plate, the one that seemed healthy, the one that slipped past your defenses. Now, none of this is meant to scare you. It's meant to empower you. Because once you understand the role certain fruits play in inflammation, you can make wiser, more supportive choices. Even the most seemingly innocent fruit can be a silent saboteur or a healing ally. And that's where we go next. If mangoes and other high-sugar fruits can drain your strength, what can restore it? What fruits can actually help your legs feel lighter, stronger, and more supported? You're about to find out, because there are fruits that don't just avoid harm, they actively heal. Let's explore the fruits that nourish, protect, and help rebuild the strength and freedom you deserve.